here with Paul Dunmall, one of the most formidable and exciting improvisers in the UK and beyond. He's been one of my favourite tenor players for a number of years, and he plays such a variety group of people, from classical to free improv to what some might call jazz, but I think it's just great music, as Paul's taste and background is so eclectic that he fuses everything together just to create great music.
Very nice introduction. Well, my father was a drummer, and I used to go every Friday, Saturday playing semi-pro drummer, and so there was music always around the house. And when I was about 12, I said to him, you know, I want to play clarinet. It's another boring story I won't go into, but I got to play clarinet.
We all start on clarinet for some reason.
Well, I was at school. I mean, I've told this story before, but I wasn't interested. Someone at the playground said, "Here, do you really come with me, and I want to sign on for clarinet." And I said, "Okay." So I went up there, and you know, the teacher signed this guy on, Colin Bell. Then he said to me, "What about you?" And I went, "Yeah, all right." They put my name down. And what was the amazing thing is that Colin Bell never touched the clarinet. I went up there, he never even bothered. And so I started playing. Anyway, I said to my dad, "I want to play clarinet." He said, "All right." And then he was gigging, and then he took me to a gig. I've been playing for a year or so. Took me to one of his gigs. And the guy was playing saxophone. And he came over and he had a tenor, and he just put it on my lap, and I don't know, 12, 13, 14, so I don't know, I must have been 13. And I thought, wow, that is a phenomenal object. I mean, clarinet was all right, but that looked serious. That looked like, whoa, wonderful thing, you know, just shiny and bright and loads of levers. I couldn't understand it, you know. And then when I was 14 years old, I thought, I want to play saxophone. So I said to my dad, I want to play saxophone. I've seen one down the local shop, an alto, for 20 quid. I'll pay for it on my paper round. I think, yeah, all right. Bought the saxophone, started playing alto, thought it was great. And then word gets round, someone says, "I've got a saxophone player." I had a knock on the door. There's a band, but we want a saxophone player. Are you interested? And I'm 14 going, "Yeah, I am interested, definitely." Went round and they said, "We'd better if you had a tenor." I said, "Fine, I'll get rid of this and get a tenor." So I got rid of the alto, got a tenor, and I haven't looked back since. So since the age of 14, I've been playing that. Right. It's been, well, that's the main,
that's the
main instrument for me. It's been the tenor.
What qualities is it about the tenor that now would you have got to the tenor if you hadn't had that knock on the door for a tenor player? Do you think you would have eventually made it to the tenor?
I don't know, possibly. I think so, because the tenor has got a voice-like quality.
Yeah.
Alto's just a little bit shrill, you know. Baritone's hard work. Tenor's like in a voice range somehow, and it just feels so natural. It feels comfortable, and I was a big guy as well. I mean, I just love the sound of it.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I listened to Charlie Parker in the early days, and you know, I thought it was absolutely astounding. But then listening to the tenor, you know, was just like, oh, that's the sound. King Curtis, actually, and Junior Walker. I used to love those guys.
Yeah.
I used to think, oh, if I could get a sound like that.
I think there's the dark and richness to it that it just resonates at that slightly different.
Yes.
Different pitch.
I know. It's just something about it. Maybe it's just that dark sound. You go, wow, you know. But I've played the others. I went back to alto. I played baritone, soprano.
I mean, you play a fair amount, soprano and
yes, a lot of soprano and saxello, which is a bent soprano, basically. So I love them all, really. Yeah. I do. I love all the saxophones.
How would you describe your music?
Well, the trouble is, it's impossible to do that, because it covers such a long, you know, as I say, I'm 60 next year. I started in soul bands, I played in rock bands, I played in Latin bands, I played the classical thing, played the jazz thing, funk. Basically, there isn't much that I haven't been involved in, and I've learned from all of it. I wouldn't, you know, I was in a blues band with Johnny Guitar Watson, and just loved hearing him play the blues and soaking it all up. So I suppose in the early days I did anything I could get my hands on, any music that I thought I could play and get away with, you know, I would do and learn from it. And I'm still doing that, but at this point now, after, you know, so many years of playing, I know what I want to do.
Yeah.
And that took a long time. I was a slow learner.
Yeah.
It took me many years to not really finding my own voice, not really finding where I wanted to go with it. Hearing things and, you know, and thinking, oh, that sounds fantastic. Coltrane and all these guys and, you know, King Curtis, everybody. And then gradually finding that possibly I like the improvising more than playing written music. And then thinking, I actually prefer it when it's a bit, not just chord sequences, I actually prefer it when it's going out, it's more interesting. I can feel more connection with something in here rather than in here. And so you could say the last, where are we, 25 years say, I've been an improviser, or maybe you could say 30 years really. I mean, I've done other things, but focused on the improvising and worked at it. You know, really worked at it.
Yeah, I love how lyrical lots of your lines are, and then how you can just change the colour so suddenly and back again. That's what it's the harmony lines. Despite being contemporary, I hate all these classifications, but it's lyrical. I think.
But it's a conscious effort, you know. That's years of practicing that. It may sound like it's just come out naturally. And it is, but it's years of listening and thinking, I don't want to play a jazz lick. How can I have that flavour but not make it sound like a jazz lick? How can I make it melodic without it being in one key? So, you know, from years of experimenting and listening to myself and thinking, that's duff, that's rubbish, like that little bit, you know, I've analysed it a lot and really sort of worked to become a lyrical player. But intense, keep it intense. And, you know, and have the power stuff as well, screaming down the hall and all that, but that's boring. After it, you know, I used to do it for long periods of time, and it was, in the 60s there was lots of that, you know, 60s, 70s there was a lot of that aggressive, hard blowing, which is very attractive, but it's deadly boring after a while. And this now you can do it for a while and move on. So I did all those sort of things, but I've come to the point where I like to hear melodic playing myself in a player. I'm listening for a guy, what he's saying with that melody. Melody, how can you beat melody? You know, if someone's screaming away, fine, but if someone comes up with some nice melody.
I think that's what's important, that other people from outside in classical will recognise that aim for melody, because when you say improvising free, everyone goes, oh, it's noise.
Noise.
But it's not, it's completely not, it's the opposite. It's really opening up your ear and listening to what you are playing and what others, and how to weave in and out of that. And I think that's really important, trying to get that message out, kind of, which hopefully we will do through this. Kind of.
Yes, well, I mean, I've known from students, and other guys have told me that, right, they're like jazz players or classical players or whatever, and said, well, let's do some improvising. And immediately everybody starts playing weird noises. What are you doing? What if you just disregarded all your years of practice, training, good sound, and gone, what are you doing, you know? Oi, shush. Just play, you know, melodically, or just respond to the sounds you're hearing, you know, and deal with the sounds that you're hearing, that's being made around you. You don't have to go weird.
That's what I love about your work with Juan Davis Kane, how intuitive and the approach to harmony from those three and you, it just works so well. As well as the screaming bits, but I think their grasp of harmony as well.
Well, that's right.
It's a Matt's.
It's absolutely
ridiculous.
Fantastic.
And everyone.
You know, if people are doing that around, if you're going to do improvising, I have to say, if you're going to really do it, the better experienced players that you get, the easier it is for someone who's just maybe starting out or whatever. Because maybe when you get experienced players, it's just so much easier. They know where to put, they hear what you've done and push it somewhere. Whereas if you're playing with guys that maybe you're just checking it out for starting off or whatever, it can easily fall down, and you think, well, this music's rubbish. I can't have this nonsense. But if you play with good players, and you go, oh, hang on a minute, this is actually serious music, and then actually this is phenomenal. If you can get it, if you can get in there, it's not everybody's a free player, but everybody should experience a bit of it.
Yeah.
I mean,
I find it forms my classical playing, being able to listen really carefully, and then for me, I don't know, classical playing for me is also very quite compositional when I play it, because I like to change maybe the phrasing a bit or the dynamics, because that's a natural thing to me.
Yeah.
To make it my own, because I think if everyone played it exactly the same, you don't need one saxophone player to play all the rep, and that'd be boring. So
no, that's no good.
You want to personalise it, and that really helps me kind of listen to how I can change the colour of a phrase by approaching it in a different way, and just kind of think, oh, I played that way, I played it that way. And I think free improv is kind of, or just listening, is really important, and that's what your kind of music really encapsulates.
Take a bit of that.
Yeah.
Take a bit of this to make you as a player. And I think everybody should, every classical musician should experience it. So they're not afraid of it. A lot of people are afraid of it.
Yes.
And once you break that barrier and think, oh, okay. So you get, someone you get some fly shit, which has scared the life out of me actually. But, so someone gets all this written stuff, and at the end, the classical guy, composer or whatever said, improvising. The guy reading this should think, okay, fine, I'll deal with that, just like I'll deal with that. Improvise, okay, I can improvise. I mean, someone like me who's just gone down that improvising route, of course that's my main focus. But I think everybody should be able to do it and be not afraid of it and actually find something in it and then deal with it or not. So I'm not interested for improvising. Doesn't mean anything to me, but I can do it. It doesn't worry me, That's where all musicians should be like that. And I think the classical people it's
starting to slowly really
steamrolling.
Yeah, it is now.
Nobody's bats an eyelid. Improvising, yeah, sure.
Yeah. Brilliant.
It puts me out of work. Yeah, thanks.
Who inspires you? I mean, where do you draw your creative palette from now? I mean, because we're here in Worcester, in the kind of this beautiful countryside, and do you use kind of landscapes or paintings or other music as references to inform you now, or players, or I mean, it's a rather vague question, but
again, it's a lifetime of listening.
Yeah.
And
I had experience with that other music. Kind of helps.
Yes, listening to. I love all music. I mean, there's only few bits of music that I find hard to deal with, and that's one of them is like pop music. These like, I don't know what you call them, boy bands or whatever. This pop music. I mean, I sound like an old geezer now, but it's the one music that I can't get anything from. Basically, I think it's for young girls and it's entertainment and all the rest of it. But I can't get nothing out of that. But everything else. My room upstairs has got Led Zeppelin, Jimi Hendrix, Bach, Mozart, the whole lot of folk music. I love it all, and I get inspired by it all. I don't want to play it, but I think, I love that, or I love that, and I wish I could incorporate Bulgarian singers. When I heard them in the 70s, there's one, Kalinka Volcheva, a singer, and her voice, I thought, it was absolutely piercing. I thought, God, I want my saxophone to sound like that. Because it just sends shivers down your spine and go, oh! I want it to, when I play, I want that effect on people. I want people to go, oh, How do I get that? And a lot of it is here, thinking how you want to sound. If you can hear yourself playing with a tone and in a certain manner, you can get there in the end. There's practicing, it's mechanics. It's just learning, getting a tone, practicing. The vision is in here. You've got to hear yourself, and if it hasn't come yet, it will come eventually. And if it doesn't come, become a session guy and just whatever. But if sorry guys, but if you have a vision, or if you can hear yourself playing in a certain way, you will get it. And I do a lot of thinking about it more than just blowing down that all day. I think I want to get, as I say, I heard that Bulgarian singer, her voice, thinking, how am I going to get that sound? And it goes in your being. I don't know if if you practice for 20 minutes or something and you put it away and it's difficult and you go back 4 hours later, pick it up and you got it. What the hell's happened? What something is soaked in.
Yes.
You know, and I don't know how it works, but I know that, you know, if you can hear it and feel it and have that vision,
Yeah.
you will get it in
That's
there.
yeah.
You will get it in there.
Jim Hulick, who I interviewed, talked about that in a similar way in the classical approach, how to get inside the music and not from the outside but inside, and just learning how to feel it and then open it up.
Yeah.
I think.
And not let your own sort of ego or your idea of what's supposed to be happening. I mean, I'm saying thinking about it, and then when you play it, don't think anything, you know. But you've got to have the thoughts about it and how am I going to get that sound. When you play, disregard that, all that.
He referenced a rather interesting instrument called the Duke. I'm not sure if you heard of that.
Yes, I know. From, one upstairs.
Oh right.
Yeah,
so apparently his latest album was inspired by hearing the Duke and playing the Duke. So
it is a beautiful sound. Do you know that? Do you know?
I've never heard it, but
it's like a.
It's a giant double reeded kind of thing that you have to kind of force on.
I'll show you the reed. It's a nightmare. I mean, they're about this big, you know, like that. They're so thick. I mean, I don't know, but it was a long story. I was given one when I was in Russia, and the reed worked fantastic, but I trod on the bloody thing, and so busted the reed. So I got another one, but the reeds are so thick, you must have to shave them down or something. But you have to soak them and all that. But it sounds like a clarinet. It's but much more fuzzy clarinet.
Wow.
No keys on it, but it is a lovely sound.
Wow.
Lovely sound. I'll show you before you.
Okay. Right. Can you describe kind of your experiences with people from outside, from different musical genres, and how they approach it? It's quite hard. I mean, I'm talking about how what you think other people's perceptions are. You've kind of covered that already, and kind of how do you work with other people in that sense? Because you've worked a lot with some classical people, like people like the Apollo Sax Quartet,
Andrew Ball, and I can't think of anything else, but I have. Roman Mintz, a violin player. The common ground is improvising. We are improvisers. That's where we meet. Now, I wouldn't expect, like, say, Andrew Ball is an absolutely phenomenal pianist, to come in and rattle off some jazz standards. That's over here. And he wouldn't expect me to play the tenor concerto for whatever it is. That's him over there, or whatever. So we can't meet there without a lot of hard work. But we can meet in the middle as improvisers. And it doesn't have to be atonal, but it tends to go there. But gradually you can find things and you can work together. And Andrew was absolutely phenomenal. I mean, his ear holes, and we worked together, and it was absolutely beautiful in a sextet, actually. We did it quite a few times. And with Roman Mintz, the same thing. Fantastic violin player.
That's the soprano and violin album, isn't it?
Yes, soprano and violin.
Great,
and Roman said, well, I'm not really an improviser, but I'll have a go. But because he's such a great musician, you know, and great player, I thought he was very brave of him, but he did a fantastic job.
Yeah, it is. It's brilliant.
His ears, and you know, he cocked it, and we can play together. Now, I've done that with folk musicians. You know, Jigsaw, Simon Tourmier is a concertina player, absolutely amazing. I can't play all those diddly-da, no chance. I mean, I presume he can't play, you know, giant steps or whatever it is. But we met in the middle again. We met as improvisers. And that is the big thing. That's what I think improvising is such a wonderful thing. It is, that is where we can play music together. I was in Morocco with a traditional, I forget his box, or orange box with some strings like I could play with him and then he could go out, you know. And it worked fantastic because we were improvising together. So there's no form of music, really, if the people are open to it, that we can't meet. Really, that's the way I feel about it. I don't know, I've forgotten what the question was now.
No, I was just going to experience with other people from music, different genres, but
And then, well, it's about Brian Irving.
that's
he has the written thing. So it's all written. There's no improvising.
Brian is an amazing Irish composer who writes in such a wonderful, kind of fresh style, kind of drawing so many different influences from rock, pop, punk.
He loves
everything, and he incorporates it in such an amazing, fresh way, like Ed Bennett does, who's another Irish composer, and they've got these unique kind of exhilarating kind of sounding music, fresh, and this kind of it just rips off and just goes tearing into just different territories and different genres. And it's what I love is kind of Paul has recorded some CDs where you just improvise freely over fully orchestrated music, which is really interesting to see how you approach it. How did that come about? Was it their idea from hearing you, or did you approach them, or?
Well, we talked about it together, but I mean, it initially happens with Brian. Brian heard me improvising, but Brian is an open-minded composer.
He leads our improvised ensemble as well, doesn't he?
Yeah, he loves it all. His ears are wide open to, country and everything. He wants it all.
Yeah.
And he heard me improvising, and he had a 14-piece band. And he wanted an improviser, and he wanted me to do it, and I said yes without actually knowing what was involved, But I went to Belfast, walked in, I heard the band playing, I thought, wow, this is amazing. And so I played with him, and so we built up. I didn't really know that he wrote for classical things. I only thought it was like a weird funk group or something. It was unbelievable music.
They're brilliant, aren't they?
Absolutely brilliant. But he wrote classical music, and we were talking about, orchestra and saxophone with an improviser, rather than having these, I call fluffy bunny music or whatever, Let's have some serious hardcore improvising with an orchestra. And Brian was absolutely, let's do it. And so he wrote all this stuff, and the way I approached it, he presented me with this orchestra, and I said, where do you want me to play, Brian? He said, play wherever you like.
And that was it? There was
no guidance, he'd give me nothing.
Wow.
So I listened to it, I said, well, I'd like to listen to it the day before. So I went in, sat down, listened to him rehearse, and got a rough idea of what was going on. I'm not even sure, I think we may have had a rehearsal on the day. I don't know. But the way I approached it as an improviser, I turned up, and I was going to play with the sounds I heard. It happened to be an orchestra. Now they're going to be immobile, they can't respond to me.
No.
Like you would do in an improvised situation. They can't respond to me, but theirs is fixed, but I can respond to the sounds I'm hearing.
Yeah.
And it was absolutely fantastic.
It is.
To hear those lush chords and all the power, and then I can play it and stop and start wherever I want. It was wonderful. Yeah. And Ed is in the same tradition.
Yeah.
Ed was a pupil of Brian's, in fact, actually. And Ed had the same approach. I'm going to write music, but I want an improviser, and we apt to know each other. But you see, the thing is, those two pieces that we did, like one with Ed, and I've done several with Ed, and several with Brian, actually. These pieces they've wrote, another improviser could come in, if you've got an experienced improviser, and could do the same thing.
And that's,
what a wonderful thing.
It's brilliant,
It could be a trombone player, piano player, or another saxophone player, or trumpet player, or violin, I don't know.
Yeah.
Piece with improviser.
It is.
And it seems like this is getting more and more common, which I think is really healthy.
Yeah.
Really healthy.
Brian's piece is called Montana Strange, and it's on the FMR label, and it's absolutely fabulous. It's full orchestra and his improvisatory group as well, and Paul together. So it's something really special, and really worth a listen. It's brilliant.
Yeah,
Definitely.
Yes, I hope people would like it if they heard it.
What is your advice for aspiring musicians? Ways to you create work for yourself amazingly, which is something that we all aim to do. And just musically, I don't know what tips or advice you have to get on in this rather strange musical world.
God, a lot. A lot of it's luck, isn't it?
Yeah.
But sometimes you make your own luck. You've got to put the music first, I think. I mean, but you can't sit at home and wait for the phone to ring.
Yes.
So you've got to have good abilities and get the best you can, and then hunt out people to play with.
Yeah.
Most of it will be a dead end. But there might be someone you connect with. And don't be in a rush. I mean, the trouble is trying to earn a living is impossible, almost. It is so difficult. So you do what you can, maybe a little bit of teaching, which is we've all done. I've done plenty of it. I was lucky at some point in my life. Not lucky because I love teaching actually. I learned a lot myself and enjoyed teaching, but in the end I don't teach now really. And but don't I would say don't be in a rush. Know that music is a lifetime, but try and hang in.
So hang on in.
To hang on in, and you will come out somewhere. You know, there's a lot of fallout because you know it's a tough life. It's a wonderful life because you've got the freedom, and who wants, you know, what a wonderful thing to go on stage and play music and get paid for it and earn a living like that, and to be free of a lot of the worldly problems. But people want families, you know, it's a great strain on families. Also, you may find that you can start playing a lot of music to earn money, and then you can lose the vision you may have of how you want to go in music, and you'll end up playing music that is of no consequence, and you may look back and think, Christ, you know, it's not really why I wanted to play music, and actually music becomes a job and then you hate it. It's a job. I think I'd be very frightened of that one. On the other hand, if you do that, maybe, as I say, some musicians don't have a vision.
Yeah.
They don't have a passion for actually being creative. They just want to, you know, have a bit of work and enjoy themselves, and you know, nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, no.
But if there's a difference between a person who has like the job, and I would say an artist, and the artist one is the hardest one. It's great if you can do it, but you know, there's a lot of artists, and then you want your slice of the cake.
Yes.
And you know, it could be 10 saxophone players after the one great job, and one gets a bit of fame more than you and goes away, and you're left behind dealing with other things. A lot of stuff like that. But stick to it. Go through it in life and realise that, you know, as I say, I'm coming up 60 next year. I'll still try mouthpieces. I'm still trying to get better. I'm still trying to improve.
Have you got any big concert in the pipeline for that, do you think? A celebratory concert? I think that might be.
Next year I am doing so. I was going to get a big band together, and then I thought I was going to get Brian to do some conducting and writing for him. And I thought, actually no, look, I want to have a good old play, you know. I don't want to be writing for a bit. So I've got it down to a 7-piece now.
Oh, brilliant.
And I've applied for some funding for it. I don't know whether I've got it. I should know it next month. But I should do some playing for my 60th, you know. I want to celebrate it. It basically is an excuse to get some gigs, you know, just to do some, you know, do some work. And I did it for my 50th. I had a big band for my 50th, which was wonderful, and I had a tour and many other things. And you know, I'm fortunate to be able to turn things down that I don't want to do. Not that I'm flooded with work, but there's lots of things I was saying, no, I don't particularly want to do that, which years ago I would have grabbed it both hands. I think a young people should do everything. If you get asked to do a wedding, you go, bugger that, but I would do it, you know, 100 quid or whatever it is, or you know, nice, but 100 quid in the pocket. And you actually learn, there's bound to be some things you will learn. And then whatever, you know, classically great to do a concert, and next day you're in some hole in the ground doing a gig, you know. Do it all and you will gradually sift out. And if you're around long enough, you get a name. If you live long enough doing it, people will know you. I'm not saying you, but you know, one will be heard of. And then eventually, rather than phoning someone they don't know, they're going to phone you or me. Like I say with Brian and Ed, they know what they're going to get. Or this brilliant saxophone player who lives in, you know, I don't know, Sheffield. And they go, well, who's that guy? And I say, look, he's fantastic. And they go, well, I've seen a book, you know, the guy you know you're going to get. So that's what I'm saying. That's why you have to build up your connections, and best of luck, because it's hard, but it's worth it.
And thank you.
Thank you, Matt. Thanks very much.
That's great. Thanks.
I hope it's of use.
I'll be putting up a profile up on the blog on my website about Paul, like some biography, and also a list of his recordings, which is huge, and there's so much interesting stuff on there, ranging from Bon Davis Kane to your orchestral stuff, to your solo stuff, octet stuff, soprano stuff, pipes. So do check it out and check out Paul's music, because it's absolutely fabulous.
Right.